I want to bring back in our panel. We have KT McFarland, former national security advisor. We have Benjamin Weingarten, a senior contributor to The Federalist. We have Tom Bevan, a co-founder of Real Clear Politics. Wade Stotts, the host of The Wade Stott Show. And now I'm joining as well, bringing into the conversation Joey Jones, Marine bomb technician, retired, and as well Bill Roggio. He's a senior fellow at the Defense of Democracies and an Army veteran as well. Thank you all for being here with me today throughout the program. Joey, you know, I have described this moment throughout the day as wild. I think that's a pretty objective analysis and an appropriate adjective. I have also said that it went wrong. I think that's clear, that it went wrong if the goal today was to arrive at some sort of deal from both parties. But I don't think that precludes us of also saying that many are seeing this as a moment of strength and celebration in two leaders standing up for America.
Yeah, listen, J.D. Vance today was the quintessential Lance Corporal of Marines got made squad leader. That's as a Marine and watching him react, that's exactly what I saw. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Someone tweeted that Marco Rubio is trying to put him in a broom closet right now. That may be true. The reason why is that was a 40-minute discussion with press that blew up in the last 10 minutes because J.D. Vance had heard enough. He had heard enough, and when Zelensky tried to press on the diplomacy, which was insane to me that he would do that in that moment. Really, I think Zelensky met with some senators beforehand, and maybe he just came into that press conference feeling empowered to try to put Donald Trump in a corner. But I think we've learned you don't do that. You certainly don't do it in front of cameras because Donald Trump won't shy away. History will tell. And when I say history, the next few days probably what the end result of this is. I would love to have seen it not end this way, not go this way, but I'm not upset by it. I think that President Trump has a responsibility to set a tone across the world. I would love to see it happen in a way other than this, but I'm not surprised by it. I mean, would I talk the way Donald Trump would? No, but I also wouldn't build a skyscraper in the middle of Manhattan or run for president. 77 million Americans voted for him to be tough on issues that divide this country and to be decisive and consistent. And I think that's what we saw today. I want to see this deal go through, and I want to see that war end. And I don't know that what happened today doesn't actually get that done.
Bill, I see you smiling along as Joey talks. I'll be curious your opinion of this. But it does appear that J.D. Vance and Donald Trump, when they take this tact with Vladimir Zelensky, have the back of the American people. It's something the American people want. Polling suggests, here's a headline from The Hill, that this is what America wants. They want peace. They want to find the end of this war between Russia and Ukraine. They don't want to see it litigated through violence to some ultimate conclusion. So what do you think, Bill?
Yeah, I think that's correct. The American public wants strong leadership. That's what they believe they voted for. Look, what happened today certainly was not pretty, and President Zelensky did no favor to his cause, to the Ukrainian people. It was an absolute mistake. His tone, his body language, dare I say his dress. I mean, put a suit on to go to the Oval Office. Yeah. He reeked of disrespect. But that being said, look, he was trying to litigate the history of this war, and he's not wrong on many of these points. But President Trump and Vice President Vance were trying to say, we need to look forward and find a way for peace, to get a ceasefire. Zelensky continually sat there through the end. You have to watch the entire 40 minutes prior to that 10-minute exchange to really understand this. He kept saying how it wouldn't happen, how it couldn't happen. And it ultimately was disrespectful. I hope there is a way for this to be put back on track. I don't want to see Vladimir Putin win this war. But right now, you can be certain in Moscow, the Russians are celebrating.
I don't know if this can be put back on track, especially when we hear something like this. I want to get both KT and Tom in on this. I was stunned earlier today when I heard Senator Lindsey Graham on with Bill Hemmer and Sandra Smith. Now, just for some context, Lindsey Graham met with Zelensky this morning, took a selfie. And I think we all know that for years has been an adamant defender of Zelensky. And yet here he was today on Fox.
I just think there's no way the president could have signed that deal given the way he and J.D. and our country were treated. I don't know if you can put it back together. I don't know if you can repair the damage. And I busted my ass to try to help Ukraine. As to Zelensky and Ukraine, to the Ukrainian people, America wants to help you. The way the meeting went today, you made it almost impossible to help you.
KT, he went on to say he doesn't know if Ukraine can go on with Zelensky.
You know, what happened today is that you saw what Zelensky really thinks, that we can't trust Vladimir Putin on any agreement, therefore we're not even going to negotiate an agreement. And if we negotiate an agreement, unless America brings its military forces and boots on the ground, you're not going to be able to enforce it. Well, we're not that. You know, the United States is definitely not going to do that. So as I'm looking at that, and I spent a lot of time in the West Wing of the White House, and I was looking to see where would Zelensky walk out and at what time. There was about an hour after the press conference that Zelensky was still in the West Wing. Now, there are only a couple of offices in the West Wing that you can be in where you can have yourself and several other people. It was the National Security Advisor, the Vice President's office, the Oval Office, or the Roosevelt office. So Zelensky stuck around for an hour and he talked to somebody. My guess is at that point he was trying to get it back on track, back on track. It's not getting back on track. And unless Zelensky figures out some way to come hat in hand and get Donald Trump to forgive him and to have the American people forgive him, I don't think Zelensky is the guy who's going to be able to bring anybody to peace. Now, maybe Zelensky has to resign, but there's no way that with that kind of an attitude, we can have any kind of a peace agreement with a guy who wants to keep fighting. And as President Trump said very rightly, if you don't want this deal, then we walk away, and then I guess you keep fighting, but it's the end of your country.
I've got a hard commercial break in about 10 seconds. I want to get Tom's reaction to Lindsey Graham and the reaction of other world leaders to what happened today in the Oval Office as this panel remains with us here. More in a moment on The Will Cain Show.